forces to hold.
Howard.
When markets move, Stephen E. Orr takes the chair. From the White House to Wall Street, he's spent decades at the intersection of policy, markets, and real capital. And he's seen firsthand how institutions use data behind closed doors. Now, as founder of Quasar Markets, his mission is to pull those signals into the open so everyone can see what really moves the markets. This is Stephen E. Orr, Big Beat on Wall Street. Let's filter the future live.
Good morning, traders. Welcome to Quasar Markets Live. President speaking right now in Davos, and that's going to move the markets.
You think so? I think it's been quiet. I think I said earlier he sounds presidential, but it seems that he's just, I don't know. The market seems to kind of ignore him a little bit. I think they're listening to him. Let's see what they have to say first, but I'm not really seeing exactly. I'm not saying anything new, and I don't, he just, like I said yesterday, he's going to spit in the face of Europe, and he just did. He just said Europe's not doing well. So, and he said that the U.S. economy is on pace to grow at double digits or double pace of the projected IMF rate. I don't believe that. I'm sorry, that's just not happening. He said steel mills are being produced all over the country. Where? We've not seen that either. So I don't know. I'm not saying he's a liar. I'm just saying he's it doesn't seem to add up to what's really happening. So I don't see this as a positive. And for those of you who don't know, I actually own TQQQ, and I actually owned it overnight. So there's a massive issue here. So I'm looking at it. Not right. Zora is making a good point here. I hope the markets ignore him and not go against NATO. I agree with that. I mean, it's NATO's been in place for many years. Although I do understand his position. I mean, he's saying that NATO countries haven't been producing their money for us.
They haven't paid their share, right?
Yeah, they have not paid. They haven't. So and we're backing off ourselves. So, but that's not they're allies. I mean, you don't treat allies this way, and this is not a way to start to cut the world. So there's diplomacy and there's diplomacy, and this is not diplomacy. So I don't like this, but I also think that the president is speaking, and I said this earlier today, that I think he's being very presidential. I think the way that he dropped the word hell out there, and he dropped a few other things, and he slipped into his Trumpy speak that we don't like a few times, but he sounds pretty presidential. I do like that. He's not. The arms aren't waving crazy, and he's starting to say things that I kind of like and agree with. So I do like this, but you get more flies with honey than you do swatting them away. So let's capture the honey. I don't know. That's my take on this. Davos. Kind of sad I'm not there in Congress Hall today, but it is interesting to hear what he's saying.
Well, the markets are liking what he's saying so far, the tune that the VIX has dropped about 2.5%.
Yeah, he's talking about Greenland right now, so I like that.
He didn't come out guns a-blazing, so to speak, so I think that at least has that moving in the right directions. Treasury rates so far, exactly neutral, 4.295 on the 10-year. 30-year has ticked up slightly here, so not much movement there. And if we look for overseas for guidance, the Nikkei and the Hong Kong indexes were both green on the day, while the stocks is down about 0.5 percentage point there. DXY at 98.51. So bouncing back a little bit from yesterday's lows, but back below the 200-day MA there. And gold is doing its thing there, 48.59, Steve. New all-time high again, 48.88 overnight, leaving silver a little bit in its dust, which is now neutral for the day at 94.45. You looking to start shorting gold versus your silver nowadays?
No. I think the problem here now is that we're starting to see the catch up. People are starting to realize gold, silver at $100 is nuts. So no, I don't think so.
Yeah, it's crazy, but it does show the geopolitical tensions plus tariff anxiety does have the markets looking for some diversification out of the U.S. dollar, as we saw yesterday. Oil, president keeps preaching about how he's got oil down at 50. It's back up above 60 here for WTI. Brent at 64.35, both rising another almost 2% here today. And with the cold comes nat gas, Steve, 22% to the upside here today at 487.
Yep. It's cold, but the problem is now that the lines aren't pushing that gas as fast as President Trump just said that people will soon be prosecuted for the 2020 election. And that we give so much to NATO and get so little in return, says the U.S. treated very poorly, very unfairly by NATO. Interesting comments here coming out. Mark's not liking that. He needs to get back to that. Why is he talking about the election again? Is he still on the world stage talking about the 2020 election? I think I spoke too soon about acting presidential.
Yeah, like I said, I'll wait till it's over, because at any point, if he doesn't like the way they don't clap or whatever, it could turn just like a WWE wrestling show, quite honestly. Looking at the indices or the sectors of the S&P, do see a decent amount of green today. Energy, the big winner. Again, energy mining stocks up 1.2% so far. After that, we see it's a cross between utilities up about 44 basis points. Same thing with materials. Technology still catching a little bit, up about 23 basis points. Industrials up 35 basis points. And with bank earnings out over the last couple of days, financials holding up about 26 basis points there also, Steve. Any sectors you're watching particularly today?
No, I don't think sectors are the key right now. It's still a stock picker's market. And I picked up Netflix on the dip yesterday. It's still dipping a little bit this morning, which I think it's oversold. I'll be buying more Netflix this morning at $80 a share. I mean, you're talking about 800. If you're going back, this thing was over 1,000. So you're getting a haircut on Netflix, and they made money, and they're about to expand, and they're about to pay cash for Warner Brothers now. This thing is outrageous. It's been beat up, no reason whatsoever, and people are still watching Netflix. I guarantee you, they're still watching Netflix. So,
it's funny. I wrote in my notes here. Netflix is a perfect example of what BigBeat has been talking about. Everything in their earnings report was pretty good, right? Not pretty good. Was good.
Very good. Yeah.
They top line revenue beat, EPS beat, guidance good. People are watching. Their move into sports has been good so far, and like you said, they have enough cash to pay for Warner Brother Discovery, so that puts them back in the headline there. So yeah, that, like I said, market irrationally pricing this one, in my opinion, too. So I guess we agree on one this week. There. So there, Steve. What about airlines? United Airline was a bright spot, strong outlook, better numbers. You think that we can see some movement in that sector today? I'm trying to.
I don't invest in airlines. I use my nose here, but that's thanks to a dear friend of mine. But United Airlines was up because of me, I think. As much as I travel and I do, okay, we're seeing a pop now. I do like this. He's talking quite nicely now. One thing he just said is Europe has to work on Ukraine, not us. He's backing off of this fight here a little bit. He's also saying things like the United States cares greatly about the people of Europe, and we believe deeply in the bonds we share. So I like this talk. This is not the talk that we were expecting to him say. Finally coming. This is good. I like this a lot. So maybe it might not just be a sector rotation. Maybe we go back to being normal again here, and the market's pushed back up again. I bought TQQ yesterday. So you say sector, and I say specific stock. Maybe it's just an overall market buy right back into it. So that might be the play here, Howard, as opposed to sector rotation. Because I like the Qs here, and I like this move here. 50.94 now in TQQ. I'm in it at 51.30, so I'm a little light on it right now, but I should be back over it later today. And Netflix, yesterday I bought it at 88.30, so I'm down $1. So what? I like this move. Yeah, here we go. I think we're gonna move here, and I like Bitcoin. Could get back over 90,000 again here. That might be a good play too. Here's one for you, Howard. I bought Link yesterday on that dip.
There you go. I'm a fan, as you know, chain agnostic. It's, they just, they're already getting used by TradFi. They're going to continue to get used. Oracles are going to be needed more and more. Doesn't matter if it's private blockchain, public blockchain, permissionless blockchain, or permission blockchain. They all need oracles to bring that price data on. Our CFTC has made it very clear, right, that they are going to, they're going to push the markets on chain. So
yeah, I love it, and I think it's brilliant, and I like it, and I like what Chainlink's doing. And I'm on this morning someone wrote on my Twitter, boomers are now into Link. Man, I've been in crypto before. Some of these kids were diapers when they were talking about crypto. They didn't even know what crypto was. And you and I sitting on the board of ABCA, and you to be the president of American Blockchain Crypto. We talk about crypto all the time, and as the original buyers of Bitcoin here ourselves, like we know you're on the forefront of this. This isn't boomers buying Link. This is a situation.
Well, it is. Institutions are. So the ETF launches have been.
But I mean, I should say you and me as boomers are not.
Right. Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I am. I guess.
We are boomers. I guess. I don't know, man.
I was an early adopter boomer, I guess.
We're good. We're good.
But yeah, I don't run from my age. I'm old.
The U.S. does not want to use excessive force to get Greenland, according to Trump now. So that should push the stock market up, folks. That's a very good comment. I'm liking that comment a lot. It makes more sense than this. We're going to put boots in the ground and go take Greenland. That's just stupid. I like this talk. This is smart, and I'm staying long. And I like this. This is good. This changes the narrative a little bit.
Yeah, so far so good. Again, wait to the end for judgment, but markets liking it. Tick's been positive throughout. The advanced declines pretty much doubled, so the stock market is definitely liking it. So happy to see that. And the VIX keeps pushing down, 1895. Like you said, that rhetoric that we're not, going in there to attack Greenland seems to have the market reacting in the right way. Hey, look at that. We're even going to build the golden dome that defends Canada.
I mean, I like that. Let's do it together, right? I like that. That's a great idea, right? That's perfect. That's smart.
But then he ends with Canada lives because of us. Remember that, Carney. He can't help himself. It's
no, and I think that's the part you just ignore, right? You just ignore that part. But we understand the bluster, we understand the tweets, and as long as we understand that as traders, then we can make money off of that. And I think it's a positive day. To be honest with you,
I think we see a rally now that he says he doesn't want to use force. That's believe it or not, it takes something that was on the table maybe off. Although on CNBC they had on the CEO of Tasker, and he said that Greenland is just a front to go watch what he's doing there, and then watch for something to happen in Iran in the next week or two.
We're going to attack Iran soon. I mean, the Fifth Fleet's already there.
They said, they're just waiting for the carriers. Was the comment that person made.
We got two more coming. So. Iran's in trouble. I'm just going to tell you, and I'll tell you, the Starlink sitting across is over now, Iran, and my back channels are telling me it's just a matter of time. The protests are getting bigger and wider and louder, and buildings have been taken over. So United States is coming to help, and I like this a lot. This is very good too as well. Let's remove the IHL up.
So far, still remains to the positive. Advanced decline continues to jump up, now up 1750. And crypto, which had everything pointed to a down day again, is now nicely rebounding. So the president's talking everything up here. We'll see if it can be sustained, because we saw a lot of institutional selling, a lot of big wallets disperse yesterday across crypto. Need that to change to see a healthy recovery. VIX, though, now below 19 here. So again, getting closer to that $18 neutral place we like to be, at least. Let's take a look at the rates. And now rates moving down a little bit here. So 4.28. So again, the markets are moving the way we want them to when we see this. So far, so good, Mr. President.
President says Trump's Ukraine's a bloodbath and I want to stop it. All right. I mean, yeah.
So he's got a lot going on here. As you can tell, it's going to be all about tweet analysis today to start your day as we look. And now the Mag 7, which had no green, now has, Tesla green, Meta green, Amazon green, Apple green, and Nvidia green. So we are now seeing just Netflix as the laggard after their earnings. Microsoft pretty flat, and Google down slightly. Interesting how Google's been getting hit the last couple of days, Steve, considering their Apple's news that they're going to roll Gemini into the new Apple products, right?
I love it. I think it's smart. I've said this from the get-go that they need partnerships. This is nonsense. Apple does not. I've been the hardest, I think, on Apple than anybody in the world, saying that their AI sucks, right? And it does, and they don't need to be focused on that. They do. And they do what and I have Apple products now all over me, right? I say the same thing. Apple does not innovate. They haven't innovated in years, but they take cool things and make it better. And if they can integrate these things like Gemini, which I still don't think Gemini is that good, by the way. I mean, people don't really, I say this all the time. It's better. It's better.
I like it. So I'm using the new one. I'm giving it a try. There's like a 3-month little demo thing, and I'm liking it so far.
Okay.
To be honest with you. I'm liking it because of its ability to do better work within the web than the others can. You don't get the
I can see that
errors. You don't get
the point, right? I need one that works for me for math. I need one that works for me for pictures and videos and things. And
Claude by far the best for visual. I have
pretty good.
Them, and I use 4 for different things, but for visual, Claude is the best. Grok draws the best, does the best video work, social media. ChatGPT is best for multitasking. If you're asking complex things, that works the best. Obviously, coding is Claude. Gemini, I found, like I said, if I wanted to do work for me, automation of my daily tasks, it's the best because it goes into my emails if I wanted to. It goes into my web, uses the web browser directly. I don't get as many timeouts. I used to run a lot of things automated, then I'd go look at it. And it didn't run because halfway through it couldn't get through it.
So Blake is now saying that ChatGPT is horrible. I don't agree completely with that, but I don't disagree with you either. I kind of am right in the middle. It depends on what version of ChatGPT you're using, right?
You have the paid version, and the ecosystem is it has you can't deny it also has the best ecosystem of things being built if you use its connection to Canva and other things there.
Correct.
Keep that in mind too. Steve froze on me here. Is that for everybody? Are you back, Big? You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, you froze for a second. I don't know if
Zoro just said she grabbed 5.2 points in the yes there, baby. Look at loving it.
There you go.
That's what I'm talking about. This isn't about your charts. This is about Trump talking. I liked it. I like what he's saying, thinking like an institution, and boom, the stock jumped. I mean, the market jumps. It's not a stock picker's market. You got it. That's how it works. Yeah.
Steve, we're getting the first little move by the new helm at Berkshire Hathaway, and they're dumping a core favorite of Mr. Buffett's as soon as he's out the door. The chair's not even cool yet, and they're getting out of their catch-up play.
I don't blame them. Look, I've said this from the get-go that as soon as he's out, expect changes over there, expect massive changes. I think that's part of it, right? And just expect it to happen. Yeah. Trump just said, "Stock market dip is peanuts. Stock market will double." And when he said that, the market fell. So we're back to that again.
That's what I said. Is you got to wait till he's done. to get what's
But I
going
like
to
what he's saying. I mean, he's sounding presidential again. I like that. Yesterday I was asked, what does that mean, acting president? What does that actually mean, Steve? Well, in a lot of ways, it's the calmness of the markets, right? It's what you're saying. You're setting your agenda. You're talking about what you want to talk about and saying, okay, these are the things I want to accomplish, but not saying this in a blustery way, not saying that I'm the best, me, 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 me. We know that's how he acts because he can't help himself, and the narcissistic side of him, which is fine because you got to be a little bit narcissistic to run for president. But when you look at the next level of the White House and what the administration is trying to do is leaving a legacy. Is he leaving? What kind of legacy is he leaving? Is he leaving one that creates the next generation, that leaves for next generation? And I don't think that's the case. He's doing everything he can as fast as he can because he knows he's going to lose in November. It looks like pretty badly in November at this point. So I don't blame him for that. Trump is saying he is seeking immediate negotiations to discuss acquisition of Greenland. U.S. does not want to use excessive force to get Greenland, but he is saying he wants Greenland. So I think I think it's a money play here. I think we're going to buy Greenland if we can do it. And let me tell you, I even told my wife this the other day. I'm okay with this.
And it was pointed out we bought the Virgin Islands, 100 years ago, whatever it was.
This is not unusual
because we needed, and we bought it from Denmark, right? So
this is not unusual. It's just unusual to people right now because they don't really know how it's a history lesson, folks, for a lot of people, right? And it's just saying, hey, this is not unusual. It's just unusual in this time frame. It's unusual because it doesn't normally happen now, right? It's happened in the past. But this is how borders get changed, right? Things get moved around. Look at that, 51-33. I'm now in the positive now with TQQQ. I had a feeling that was the case. I'm not trying to talk about it, but I like what he's saying. I thought that the president was going to come to Davos and just go pontificate, which it looks like he didn't do that. So I'm liking this a lot.
Yeah, so far sticking to his guns, but not, again, said we won't use force. That should come as a relief to markets, without a doubt.
And I think it's what the market is really worried about is, wow, we're going to go to war with Greenland and in Europe. Market didn't like that at all.
No, I mean, that's good for nobody. Good for nobody there. Steve, what is up today again, we talk about every time it does jump up. Get ready to fade your favorite Chinese names. PDD up about 4% today. Baidu up 5.37%. Bilibili up 5.68%. My view on these is they're not really sustainable. Oh, I forgot WeRide up about 3%. So folks, if you're in, take profits, look at it. What continues to move up, ONDS, as you know, one of my small cap picks that I really liked this year, up another 5.86%. We do see ARM having a nice day. Some of the semis are moving in the right direction today. ARM up about 4%. We see Micron, which has been strong, up 2.25%. And Intel, Steve, going into earnings up 3.32% now, right up at 52-week highs. What do you think, Steve? We're going into earnings here. Is Intel tomorrow going to have
ratio of 4,200? I mean, no, I think this is stupid. I think this is Intel's got to show me something. They got to show me they're actually building and doing things. I don't want to just if they don't, then I think you're going to see a crash in Intel.
A lot of analysts disagree with you there. The reason it's up is you've seen about 7 upgrades recently, including Seaport Research Partners raising their target to $65 on Intel, which is currently trading about 50. So are seeing movements in that sector for sure there, and that's got NVIDIA, broadband, everything moving nicely to the upside within the chip sector. Mag 7, again, everything except for Netflix is green, and Netflix up about 2% from its lows earlier there. So, again, markets are liking how the president's speaking at Davos so far.
Well, I love it. I like it.
Really gone up. It was at 800 when he started speaking, now at 2187, which brings me to my next subject, Steve. One weird subplot is that small caps have held up relatively well. And some of them are up significantly for the year. And, that's a little bit of a paradox based upon the way the rates have moved and everything else, right? So is this
Well,
a
I think the problem is
rebalancing out
there
of
that
mega cap? Is it a catch-up trade? What do you think's going on there?
I think it's just that they've been beaten up so much that they've been so beaten up that they can't go much lower, right? They can, but I don't think that's it wouldn't be a smart move for that, and I do like that. So yeah, no, this is good.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Man, I'm really liking TQQ here. This is really good this morning. I think we're
go to the upside here as we get ready to open. If we look at the sectors of the S&P, most of them have gone positive. We do see that XLP, which is consumer staples, slightly negative. Communications is down. Also, most of the others are moving to the upside so far. We're about 4 minutes from the open. Pre-market laggard so far. We talked about Netflix. We talked about Kraft. We do see Truist on less than stellar earnings. They are down about 1.4%. AppLovin down about 1.7%, and Dollar Tree down about 1.8% here this morning. But not a ton of laggards to look at so far there, as the market, again, seems to like what the president has to say. Another one coming off of earnings that has gone negative here is TE Connectivity. They actually had solid earnings. That's another one. First move was the wrong move. First move was the upside. They had a top line and an EPS beat, and are now moving down about 5%.
He is now saying he will not use force on Greenland. So he is now specifically saying that. I think you can. Now I think we can all breathe a sigh of relief.
Drug prices will go down by a staggering 90%.
And I like that too. I think drug prices are outrageous. This should help insurance companies, by the way. I would look at UNH if that's the case.
Yeah.
AMD now 2.2% here. Yeah, and UNH is already pushing up a little bit here. It's already green.
Advanced decline continuing to move to the upside. VIX continuing to move to the downside, 1850 here. So we do see, again, market really liking what it's hearing so far.
Yeah, I think we push up all day. I think this is a smart move. I think anybody selling right now is dumb. I'm holding and I'm going to go long. I'm staying.
I love it.
Yeah, CNBC now pushing it out on their socials now. So I think this is good. I really do. I think this is very good news.
Abercrombie and Fitch up 5% here this morning. That's an interesting one. Mentioned Chinese names. Baidu up 5.6% on my watch list so far. A little bit of a recovery by some of the space names here today.
Trump now says that USA is the economic engine of the world. When America booms, the entire world booms. I mean, he's not wrong.
No, no. Talking about the housing now. Again, that should help.
Got about 1 minute now to the open here. I think I'm just going to sit tight here. I think we're going to have a nice little run to the upside here. I know we're seeing a little bit of pullback as people get nervous, but I think we can run up. I think the algos are getting involved here in the early trade here, but I think they're just stupid. You better turn those algos off, Mr. Machines, because I think they're wrong. And the algos have been wrong a little bit. Okay, market's opening.
Here we go. We are open. Q's first move slightly to the downside.
We're dumping
at 609 here. We do see the SPY.
Oh, there you go.
A little bit of pressure to the downside on the open. Tick is at 330 though on the positive.
Buyers are Netflix stuffing in the Netflix there. There we go. Yeah, I think we push now. I think the silly selling was done, and I think here we go. We're pushing now. So that's kind of what I figured.
Qs are bouncing back to the upside here right around 610. Dow Jones is up 17 basis points here. The small caps, as Steve and I were just mentioned, continue to outperform, up 84 basis points here this morning. And advanced declines really popped off, up now 4,100. So markets are looking to rebound after yesterday's the worst day we had seen in a while. Nice little recovery so far here, Steve.
Yeah, I gotta see more of a move to the upside though. Markets are still waiting for him to. He says he hopes to find a crypto bill soon. There you go. That should put. There we go. Crypto's pushing. Yeah, I was seeing a little bit more selling as there is some profit taking here. But I think it's still sell America, so be careful out there. I don't think it's about us and buying our own stock. I think it's about the world still is dumping our stuff.
Intel popped off, now up almost 6% here. It is pulling back from highs of the day, but wow, Intel popped off there. Same thing, Baidu to the upside, Billy to the upside, popping off here. USAR also moving to the upside on the open. Same thing.
He is still talking.
ARM. UAL trying to pop off here too. So we're seeing a little bit of strength by the early morning pumpers here. GDS moves to the upside here. Another one of the Chinese names. Oh, wow, I didn't see that too. RMB.
The EU has voted to delaying the vote on ratifying trade agreement with the United States. That's not good, folks. That's really bad if they're delaying that trade agreement. That is really bad. Could he not have waited to just till I've got that trade agreement done? They're going to use that as leverage against us.
Tick still saying positive. Advanced decline is right around the high of the day, 41.21 here. So market's resilient for sure.
Yeah, it is very resilient. I'm liking the resiliency. I mean, I'm long. I'm hoping that. I don't believe in hope and prayers. Everybody knows, but I'm long on this market. I really do. I like this. I like this market.
Nice rebound by crypto here. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
On chain, it's not looking so great right now. So we need something to pump it. This is going to be perpetual futures, not spot buying. So be careful. Nice little move up by Intel, 6.5% now. Steve, continuing to move. Wow.
I've changed my charts now to 1 minute. Yesterday they were on the 3 minute, 5 minute, but I'm back to the 1 minute chart right now, especially while he's talking. So that's why I'm saying be careful out there. But I think once we're done with the talking, I think you can go to 3 minute or 5 minute, 3 minutes specifically. But
seeing Teledyne pump here on its earnings. So Teledyne just had a EPS beat of about 8%, came in at $6.30 versus a $5.83 street estimate. And they also topped their revenue estimate by about 2.5%, up 8.5% here on that news. So nice move up by Teledyne here. Also seeing FRMI, Fermi, up about 10, almost 11% here in the early trading session. And Plug, EA play, President's been there blasting EA, but it doesn't matter, up about 7% here on their move.
Gold's pulling back a little bit here. Silver's pulling back too. I think it's getting very tired in there now, and especially now with the nonsense of Greenland is now starting to load. Trump says the U.S. should pay the lowest interest rate of any country. Well, that would be zero, folks, or negative in this case.
Yeah, because right, Switzerland.
I mean, Japan has now raised their rates, obviously, but Switzerland is negative. I don't know. Switzerland's still negative. I don't know if Switzerland's still negative,
or at least neutral at best.
We're still seeing some selling here, and the Qs pull back, but I think that 1 minute chart's turning around for us.
A couple of the medical names, Centene getting hit here, down about 4.75%.
$83 on Netflix.
Recovering from those lows.
Yeah, nice catch on that. I was going to say Netflix there. I like that.
Same thing as Stera Labs coming off of the lows. Tick remains positive, but advanced decline, moving a little bit to the downside. The VIX has picked back up to 19 here.
Yeah, the positive. I mean, it's plus 4,000 on the advanced decline. I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, considering we should have a very positive day here, so I think the selling and the Qs are silly.
Yeah.
83.50 now on Netflix. I'm positive now on Netflix.
Nice. Seen a little turnover on the megas. Nvidia pulling back a little bit. Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Meta, and Netflix still red. Tesla, Apple are green, but giving up a little bit of their first move here.
We're turning here on Qs here. We're turning. Here we go. Could be a pop to the upside. Now, Mr. President, be quiet. Trump reduced Swiss tariff because he doesn't want to hurt people. Okay. What about everybody else?
What a day. Okay, so Bitcoin trying to hold up, sort of hit its top here.
Netflix now 83.61. I think the highs there the morning here.
Tick still positive, up 400, so we're still seeing that.
We're going.
You know, and again, the small caps are up 78 basis points, leading the way. So again, even with rates, although the rates are pulling back a little bit today, but even with elevated rates, these small caps continue to pick up steam here.
You were listening to us here, right here. I told you the turn here is coming. There's 51.16 now on TQQQ. We could push higher here. Netflix at 83.80 now.
Rambus up 13.22%, continuing to move to upside.
Rambus. Haven't heard that word name in a while.
Yeah. Semiconductor name. They report earnings in a few days. Next Monday. Or actually, excuse me, a week from Monday.
AMD up 3%. Domino's Pizza up 4%.
Man, Kraft Heinz getting hit hard here on, again, that news that Berkshire is divesting their shares, down now 7.34%. And that would be a potential resale of 325.4 million shares. They own 27.5% of the company.
Yeah, no, Kraft Heinz is in trouble. I mean, hopefully it doesn't hurt the product because I do like Catalina dressing.
That is
honey mustard.
Yeah, my family likes a lot of their stuff. That's funny. You and your Catalina dressing, my man. ARM now up 7%. There's a run a day. Same thing, Intel up 6.5%. So you got some runners. Downside, a couple of biotechs, to be honest with you, not.
Yeah, we're not. I think people are tired of buying here. I think they're just waiting for him. He's going back to being Trumpy again.
Lucid up 7.61%.
He's throwing the arms around there. So he's getting Trumpy now. He's getting Trumpy.
Oh, and when the news there is that Lucid expands its global footprint with a Saudi manufacturing push. Datadog having a good day, up 5.3%. Oh, Steve, we didn't talk about Halliburton. Had strong earnings today. They are up about 4.5% and moving towards the highs of the day, 33.71. Also a 52-week high. They posted a Q4 profit of 69 cents
Oh,
per
he's going
share,
off on Powell right now.
beating estimates, and their revenue hit 5.7 billion, again beating the estimates on the street.
Says that good news sends the stocks up how it should be. He laments that stocks crash on good economic news.
Tick is still up. Advanced decline has gone, man, it's about neutral, that 42.50 area. VIX drops back below 19, so there is some room to run here.
Good
Rates
morning,
have
Steve.
pulled back a little bit. Some of the things are in place that increase liquidity here. Oil continuing to push up, though.
I think once he gets done talking, I think we'll push back up.
Boeing pulled back a little bit today, up about, oh, there it goes. Nice little pop from the bottom there. Now only down about 80 basis points, was down 1% when I was getting ready to say that. Again, Alibaba having a strong day here, up 2.83% as Chinese names, some of the strongest in the market. Baidu up almost 7% here right now.
Man.
Berkshire Hathaway on that news of Kraft, not really much of a move, only up about 12 basis points.
Yeah.
It did see an initial pump, but it's pulled back from that pump.
And I see no reason to buy Kraft Heinz here. I mean, you got the biggest firm on the planet that's buying stocks, and they're pulling out. There's a problem. So, and here's another thing. If that's the case, look at Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola might be right behind it. Because Coca-Cola is their
another big holding for them for sure.
Okay, come on, Mr. Market. Trump's talking. He's about to wrap up here.
Disney back at 111 here. Steve almost 112. Nice little move to the upside last 2 days, even with pressure in other sectors. Intel now up 7.5%, continues to run to the upside.
Yeah, I mean, it's just silliness, to be honest with you. It's literally, it's what the.
You just said the restaurants in DC are doing amazing. Nothing could be further from the truth.
That's ridiculously wrong. Yeah, and Intel being
and I mean, I know that from so many friends that are saying that this year has been tougher than COVID.
Yeah,
for restaurants in DC.
Not good in DC.
Yeah, and that comes from people who own a large swath.
We've lived there a long time.
Yeah, that's that one. I have to speak up because I know that to be a falsity.
Trump telling a lie? No, get out of here.
Kratos defense taking a little bit of a hit here, down about 4.5% after that huge move up it's made over the last month and a half for sure. We do see, after getting slaughtered yesterday, some of the crypto adjacent names are moving up a little bit today. Coinbase up slightly. Brian Armstrong is at Davos and speaking every 3 seconds. He might as well be a Fed speaker at this point. Robinhood is up about 1.23%. PayPal having a decent day. MSTR bouncing back a little bit, up about 60 basis points. And we do see some of the miners led by Mara up 1.64%. Also see Bitfarm up about 1.3%, and Hive up 1.1%. So a little bit of a positive movement across those.
Keep going, Netflix. Netflix now 84.18 now. Keep going. Highs of the day. 84.20. It's backed off the 80. Backed off a little bit.
Advanced decline to move to the highs of the day, like you said. Tick still up 345, so there is some positives moving there again. So far so good on the speech. You know, so that's definitely a
And I think the 1 minute chart on
so
Q is looking good here. Yeah.
Mr. Flanagan should be popping in here soon.
Yeah, looking forward to talking to him. Oh yeah, come on in, man. We've got a actually, I think. Let's do it. Let's do this right. How our Steve, come in, and we've got a banner for you now, my man.
Oh, yeah. I see him coming into the room. Before we bring him in, you're ready to have him. Here we go. Steve, again, how are you doing today, my friend?
Wow, I'm loving the new look, guys.
Thanks, man. We're moving up. We got a lot of cool things coming down the pipe, and we got some great news to tell everybody soon. But until then, he's in Davos. He's speaking. He sounds presidential, Mr. Flanagan. What did you have a chat with him in the Oval Office this week?
I wish, Steve, but you did say that a lot of people are listening, and we did echo a lot of themes leading into this. You know, we wanted to see a more leveled approach. The biggest line, I think, that out of the day is that he won't use force to acquire Greenland. That settles the nerves of the marketplace.
Yeah.
Now, van der Leyen made a comment this morning. You know, I guess it's kind of a nutshell of really where the world is. She said the shift in the international order is not only seismic, but it's permanent. We now live in a world defined by raw power. Where have they been? I mean, Russia took over Crimea. Russia then moved into the Ukraine.
Yeah.
I mean, China's been threatening Taiwan. India, I mean, how could you make a comment like that, like it's an earth-shattering revelation, when the world is crumbling all around you? So, I don't know. You know, to me, that defines a lot. And I think Europe is going to have to recognize that the easiest path for a united Europe is to just, you know, look, let's move together. NATO is important. I still hold that the situation will be resolved by NATO expanding its presence throughout Greenland with Greenland's approval.
Yeah, I agree. And first, before I say, Zora's saying hello to you and asking how you're doing. Good to see you. But he also says that Trump says West has to become stronger and defend its culture. Okay, what does that mean?
So we know that he's talked about this Iron Dome, which we all thought was Israel, but of course today he tells us it's been a U.S. project all along.
It has been, yeah.
And so,
and let's be honest, the Iron Dome was before him, so he had nothing to do with Iron Dome. I mean, Iron Dome has been around for many years. I worked on Iron Dome myself, so I can tell you he had nothing to do with Iron Dome. Where it moved to, if you don't know what Iron Dome is, it moves into countries that need protections from well, I'm not gonna say ICBMs, but there are missiles coming in that have 600 to 1,000 mile range. So I do like it. But he did say something very interesting, Steve, that he is moving on to I'm not gonna say exactly where, because I don't think it's not fair, but somewhere in Greenland he wants to move that protection into Greenland itself, Iron Dome, right? So talk to me a little bit. There's more than one, and it has THAAD missiles on it too. So there's a lot of things behind it.
I watched a presentation on this whole thing, and there are two strategic locations. One, Alaska, boom, okay. And one is Greenland. Because in order for the United States to protect, the shortest distance from China and Russia is directly across the North Pole. So therefore, any sort of iron dome that the United States is talking about and contracting with people on, Greenland becomes critical. And I'll tell you why. One of the only submarine bases that United States has is also where all of the British submarines, as Britain is a nuclear power, and they have nuclear powered subs, they're all in Scotland. And, you know, the dots start to get connected as you move further in time.
Yes.
And you wonder, Scotland on a referendum a few years ago wanted independence. But at the last minute, a massive PR campaign was put in, and the independence vote in Scotland was not voted for. Had that happened, Scotland wanted nuclear free, and that base would have been gone, and that would have been the only base for the United States in the North Atlantic. Right. So it all starts to make sense when you plug the pieces in, and why the insistence on Greenland. I believe NATO will make the commitment, which the United States is part of, and everybody gets what they want.
We're part of it right now. Or Trump's not happy with it right now. And Trump's being asked questions right now, and he sounds very professional, very presidential now. Hang on once. He's talking about COVID now for some reason.
China.
Yeah. Here it comes. You're going to say it might be coming down the pipe, so be careful out there for folks.
What does Europe get out of all that? They get a stronger NATO, and they get a higher defense spending. Oh my goodness. They get jobs, they get growth, they get economic stimulus. And what more could Europe use right now than an economic stimulus? Yeah. Right. So this is a win-win. And I believe everybody at the table knows it. It's just that Trump loves to shake a tree before he, finds
so is this Taco Tuesday, Wednesday later?
I know everybody talks about the taco trade, but you know what? If it gets results, I don't care what it's called. I just hope we move on and get through Greenland as a major event. Once again, though, Steve and Howard, we talk about people obsessing on the topic of the day. All of a sudden, sell America trade. And I'm just like sitting there yesterday going, are you kidding? People need to understand one thing, and I'm going to offer some advice here. These narratives are often floated by people out there in the marketplace that have a very sizable position and can lead the market right into a trap.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, if I'm right, Friday, the markets are going to be up about 5% from where we are today, if I'm right. Because it's all going to be done, finished behind the sell America trade that everybody is narrating out in the marketplace. It'll be what happened there? It never materialized, but it's got everybody jumping in and selling. As we said Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday were holidays. You could not trade. You needed to be defensive in your risk. I put on a UVXY, of which I'll be exiting today, because if Trump finishes and I haven't seen any time bombs go off, I want out, because I think the downside is in, the correction is over.
Trump now just says things we can stop are wars. That's very positive, folks. I like that talk. That's good. We don't want to hear talk of war.
That's right.
Bad things happen when wars. I like this. Very good talk. And here we are. We are pushing higher here now in the markets. Look at that. Okay, let's go. Netflix at $84 again.
Yep. And Qs are at the high of the day, up 61 basis points here right now. We do see the SPY up 60 basis points. Also, and again, leading the way, small caps, the run up 1.14%. So tick up 500, moving to the upside. Advanced decline up 4,600. And man, Steve, your Netflix is only down 3.6%. I mean,
yeah, well,
they're only down 3.6% on the day. And that is up tremendously from where they were. And everything not named Meta otherwise looks like it's going into the green here.
Yeah, and I bought Netflix on the after the release yesterday, and which I don't like playing in the aftermarkets, but now with we're being asked now, Steve and me, I guess too. Yeah, are these reports even valid these days? Is data coming out even valid? Are all these things that are being said in question? I mean, I guess they're being asked and I'm going to go ahead. I have to go downstairs and get some tin foil and some aluminum foil for my hat. But I kind of, look, she's got a point, right? That we're looking at all this data and we're not even sure if it's real anymore. We've got this narrative now that it's fake news or it's fake this and fake that. And I don't know that I agree with that so much, but Trump now says in Davos, he says, fireside chat, U.S. growth will offset debt. He mentioned that yesterday before he answered that question. He mentioned yesterday that he thinks that our deficit will go away. Not the deficit of the United States will go away next year.
The question is very credible in the sense that, having worked in this space of AI and machine learning since around 2016, 17, our models in the world, in the financial markets, adjust within milliseconds of a new ingredient that goes in. They reweigh the model and they spit out orders before any of us can even read the first two words of the sentence. And so does the data become irrelevant? Well, it's all we got. But the reaction to the data is so instantaneous that leads to us questioning, is it still a wise trading policy to constantly look back to the last month or two's data and make a decision today? When you make a decision today, you are supposed to be looking forward.
That's right. I agree.
So,
I agree. But doesn't the past also start to show you the direction, though?
Yes. And that's what I was going to say. It is an ingredient that you should put in to your thesis, as you've always highlight. You have to have a thesis in trading. It is an ingredient that you should be putting in and weighing and saying, does my thesis change? Do a trade. If my thesis doesn't, then you ride it out. And you watch the market still headline trade and use that to your advantage. If my forecast is correct, then yesterday was just a silver platter buying opportunity. But I have to wait in time. That's my thesis.
Yeah, and for those of you who are playing along with me, TQQ, I just took my profit there. We're now up 2.2%. Nice little run there. Thank you guys for that. That was good. Okay, so Zoro's now asking you, Steve, where is that money gains going? U.S. people are not seeing it. Reality going in an offshore account somewhere in Trump's pocket. Ouch.
Ouch, yeah. Well, the money is coming in because if the narrative of sell America was so true, then I would say, why isn't the dollar index even lower? Presently, it's sitting around a 98.55 level. I think that's where it was right before I came on, 48 right now. So the dollar is not necessarily reflecting that money is moving out. Reports say that a large Dutch pension fund, ATP, sold 100 million. 100 million. That's like, it doesn't even create a ripple in the water. So money is going into safe haven aspects. The first and foremost would be the second largest trading pair in the world, the euro dollar. But to me, the euro is a house of cards. You still have France battling over a budget. Europe was going to make a firm stance on Trump's weekend news on Greenland, but then one country jumped up and stepped in the way. And President Orban, who typically is kind of a U.S. ally, stepped in and said, no, we can't. So they had no unified approach. I don't like the investment in Europe up at this level. I love the dollar at these levels, but I will say I've got to let it play out because of the emotions in the trading. Right now, the money has moved or hedged.
Pending home sales, hold on, Steve. Pending home sales now falling 9.3% month over month. That's the most since 2020 during COVID. And I can see why Trump is talking about housing and not letting major companies like JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs buying them out. Home ownership is a lot of ways people think of that as the American dream. That should also affect inflation, right?
No question about it, Steve. And the home sales number, this is exactly what he just said in Davos. Look, I was unaware of that myself. When corporations buy real estate, they then can write it off. When we buy real estate, we can't write it off at all.
Sure, we can't write it off at all. Not one bit. That's right.
Yeah. So obviously, when a company wants write-offs, why wouldn't they buy real estate, forcing the prices up? And that just works against us all.
And construction spending has risen 0.5% month over month. They were expecting 0.1%. That was in October, but those are good numbers actually. And that goes along with what he was saying. He wants to be a manufacturing country again, and construction spending being up. That tells you that I think the construction spending right now is about changing over some of these buildings and making new buildings for this the electric boom, right?
Correct. And that answers that question even further with a number that now is real data, although it is old, but it does show that money is coming into the U.S. It takes time for it to begin. But one thing we can see is that Trump does not have time. He's got till next November, or this November, in which to make sure all his changes are creating the type of change that the populace wants. I go back again. This is a populist movement. Who in the world sitting listening to Trump talking about a safer world and to benefit all? Who in the houses that are sitting there having their morning coffee wouldn't say, yeah, I want a piece of this action too? And you can see this in many of these elections within Europe. The populace is shifting to the right.
But then why all the Trumpy talk? Why all this bluster and nonsense that he has to do to get his point across?
Because he's dealing with narratives of Sell America. Where did that Sell America narrative come out? Was it based on any factual evidence? Did anybody actually see people selling U.S. assets?
Well, no, they have. I mean, fixed government bonds have definitely been sold off. China has no longer owns our bonds. Okay,
but
you can't piss off Norway because Norway has the largest sovereign wealth fund. They're very heavily invested in the United States. A lot of the Danish just sold all their stocks in the United States. So it's more than just talk. I mean, they are actually selling, Steve.
Okay, then why would the market be up today if all these people are selling? If the Sell America theory is correct, where is all the selling?
Let me just tell you, the Dow is only up 300. It was down 1,000 yesterday. So this is a relief rally in a lot of ways. But okay, I do like what Trump is saying this morning.
Yeah, the Dow is coming off of an all-time high. So, Steve, all I'm trying to say is we have to be very careful to get caught up in narratives that are not based on any factual data. And that is not because the tick data that just came out on the most recent showed that foreign investment in the United States is at an all-time high. Yeah. So, that's why I say Sell America. Okay, people may take profits, which everybody does, but the narrative is just a misplaced.
German government now has just rejected joining Trump's board of peace. So there's the first country to actually reject it besides Norway and Denmark. I think the board of peace is pretty much dead in the water if we don't. Hang on a second. There you go. Okay, I'm with you, Steve. You know what? I mentioned this yesterday. I found out going out to dinner, and I said, you know what? I'm on board with Greenland, but I don't like the way he's doing it, the way he's handling this. I don't think we should. There's no reason for force, right? There's zero reason for that. Zero. But I do think that I can understand why we want it. And this is nothing new, Steve. Going after a country is not new. Every country in the world wants to expand their borders. They want more money. That's what they do. Just ask Putin. Just ask Xi Jinping. Is this part of that feel? But I like the buying opportunity. Look, we did it. We did it for several countries. We did it for our own country, Louisiana Purchase, Seward's Icebox in Alaska. We've done it several times. We've done it in we talked about this yesterday in Mexico, obviously, and bought up. I'd rather do that than the Spanish-American War, right? So there's a lot of this is actually a smart move. But
I agree, Steve, and I think the reason that he has to be so abrupt and aggressive in coming out with the statements is because of the limited amount of time he has to exert and make change. Anybody sitting here, we have been.
So you think he's going to lose? You think the Democrats are going to win the House in November?
No.
You don't think they're going to win the House?
Right now, every poll is saying yes, but I don't follow polls at all because they have not gotten one election. Okay, with a couple of rarities, but on a national scale, they never get these things right. And understand, again, back to my narratives that are floated in the market. When these polls are done, show me who you're asking. Registered voters, okay. And how many of those registered voters have been called 6 times in the last 2 weeks? Because that's all they do.
Well, as someone who's been in the business a long time, I can tell you that's not exactly how it works. But okay. I will say this much,
Steve.
You have?
I've never been called for a poll.
No, you won't be, Steve, because if you're registered at anything, you probably won't be. You can have push polls that might be doing that, but what they call a batting poll is where they have random polls and they look at certain numbers of a district, right? So before I go into that, real quickly, we're seeing Europe and the controlled opposition are acting like spoiled teenagers. Trump is reshaping this in a positive direction for everyone, but the opposition is huge because it is Trump. That might be putting it in a very good position, right? I think that Trump has good points. It's just he's an asshole, right? And the American people hate him, and I think that Europe does not like him, and I think the rest of the world is kind of smacking him in the face. But I think he's trying to do his best. I mean, I think he just rubs everyone the wrong way. Okay. Sorry, Steve, hold on. I'll let you finish that point. But Trump just says if Hamas doesn't agree to peace, they will be blown away.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if they don't realize that by now, look, war, it's over. We're done. It's no more. We're going to make it a beautiful place for everybody to live. And Steve, the populist movement is firmly behind Trump. The populist movement, the elite, the politicians that have been taking advantage of this world since World War II, they're out the door. They're done. That's the message that Secretary Lutnick opened up with a firing salvo at Davos, saying the WEF has failed. The world. It's created all these problems. It's done nothing to improve the life of the average ordinary person. That is the key.
Yeah.
And I don't think that this, change is always disruptive to humans. Always. That's what I always would start my meetings off with. Whenever a new program, a new model would be rolled out, and people would be, oh, you can't do that. That's my job. I do that. And I'd say, look, I realize it's very disruptive, but give it a month. And then next thing you know, you can't live without it. So I'm okay with everything going on. I'm concerned about Japan with the interest rate move. Yeah. Takaichi talking about reducing sales tax for 2 years, which would be great for the people. She wants to have a snap election. She's feeding the Japan First movement. And if she does have a snap election, she may find out that she gets an overwhelming majority to execute.
Yeah.
So, I like what I'm seeing out there. Ray Dalio, who I love to follow, he's out there echoing that everybody's losing trust in one another. No doubt about it. But in order to rebuild or reshape where the world is going, you've got to break a couple of pieces. And I think that's the point that we are living in right now, this moment.
And Ray Dalio, I spoke with him last year, as everybody knows. personally and had a chat with him about what percentage that you should have in the markets, and he said 10% in Bitcoin. Today he's loving Bitcoin. He says fiat's completely dead, including the US dollar.
One of my questions to Howard was, I believe, at least my thought is that, we're on the cusp of a turn in the crypto space.
Unfortunately, we're still seeing distribution by whales on these moves. So we're seeing it's not quite ready under the surface yet. We're getting closer. There were some metrics that were looking better going into the week that looked worse after yesterday. But we're, again, it's not falling to the downside too far, and we're getting some recovery, but we're not quite there, Steve, in my opinion.
Okay. Thanks, Howard. Appreciate that.
So guys, I'm gonna take profit here on my Netflix again. I'm loving this, guys. This is really good. Good day today. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for being the president. I think that's part of what I want to say. I don't really. I'm not a fan of him, but I'm not against him. He is my president. But just how he handles the situations just isn't presidential. And I think if he had a more specific stance, the way that he handles things, I think the world would listen to him and say, okay, I get it. But the browbeating attitude does not go well for anybody. But is that what and you said a lot, and I guess I don't want to paraphrase what you're saying, but you're saying that no one listens to him unless he acts the way that he does. Is that correct?
Well, not necessarily him. Nobody has listened to the United States.
Okay, yeah, I can go along with that.
Right? I mean, previous administrations have made their comments, and what has materialized? Nothing. Let's take Denmark at its word. In 2019, Denmark said that they would put $200 million, I believe was the amount, into the defense of Greenland. At that point in time, yes, Greenland did have a couple of dog sleds, for its defense. Denmark to date has done 1% of that amount from 2009. So they haven't lived up to its accord. So, yeah, I mean, you've got to start holding people accountable. I think that's the whole wave, Steve, that we're seeing not only in the United States, but now Trump is exporting that. You got to be accountable. Hamas, you're not going to turn your weapons over? Okay, ba-boom, goodbye.
Right. Trump is now saying we're reasonably close to a deal in Ukraine. If they don't, they are stupid.
And guess who's going to get this one when the United States steps completely back? Europe is going to be faced with a very tough task. While they have some great latest and greatest technology, they're still just beginning their defense spending. So, not a good thing. I think it's in everybody's interest, especially if the frozen money that Europe has from Russia is turned over and used in the redevelopment of the Ukraine.
Yeah, agreed. I think that's a very smart thing. Wow, Steve, the world's changed a little bit in the last couple of days.
And by Friday, Steve, I think we're going to, my thesis is based on today. You're probably trying. I mean, if we don't go lower today, then to me, the bottom is in. I fully expected today to have a sell-off, an additional Sell America sell-off. The fact that I'm not really seeing it, then I go, yet again, somebody floated a narrative for an ulterior motive out there.
I'm definitely gonna get some tinfoil. I'm gonna definitely get some for my hat. I'm gonna make one up. Look, I get it, Steve. I understand what you're thinking, and knowing you as long as we've been friends, I understand it. But I just think, excuse me, guys. Live on the air. There it is. See, we are live. Look, I get it, but I also feel like in a lot of ways that I think the president is filling a void in the world. Right. Mm-hmm. We need somebody standing up for the world and not in a way that's looking to take over another area, hence Russia and China. And yet we stand up as the protector of the world and then say we want to take Greenland. And I think there's a narrative here that's not quite been taken into consideration here, right? That it's, to me, it's narcissistic, good old boy, king of the hill kind of feel, right? Instead of diplomacy, we've gutted our State Department. We call the Department of War now as part of the Department of Defense. There's a change in the philosophy here, and I'm a little, thank you, Zora. And I think that what I'm concerned about is that maybe we need to rethink this plan as we move forward. As you say right now that you think that as of right now the Democrats will win the House back, that Trump is moving very quickly, right? If Trump just laid off a little bit and ran his plan quietly, I think there'd be a different feel to it. Right now, because I say that because the cackles in the back of my neck got crazy with Venezuela, but now Venezuela's kind of calmed down, and so I understand. And as we speak, the markets are moving higher now, so I totally get that. So yeah, I just think that needs to chill out a bit.
And Steve, I don't disagree with you. I don't. I think in principle, I would really have loved that approach to the one that he takes. However, the approach he takes has yielded results, and
not all good ones.
Not necessarily, but if my thesis plays out, then this is just another piece to the puzzle here. All of it in the end creates jobs for the world, especially Europe, which the United States really must have as a key ally. I am all for that. But I will say volatility, as I've been kind of echoing for this first quarter of 26, is going to be higher than we've been used to. Now, that means Monday type of moves could happen much more often in the next month and a half. I think if we get through and into the middle of April and the bottom hasn't fallen out, it's not going. Yeah.
I'm going to keep you here 2 more minutes because the numbers are good. Thank you for everybody for watching. The numbers are really, really good this morning. Make sure you like and subscribe. And we've got some really cool products coming out very soon. You're going to like our new product, new website, new platform, new app. It's all coming very, very soon. We're working on that now. And we have even bigger news to share here in the next few days. So we will be talking about that very soon. And of course, everybody here knows that Steve Flanagan is a part of Quasar Markets and a dear friend, and I'm very proud to call him a friend, as well as what we're building here at Quasar Markets, getting the news out there and no BS, right? This is a different way of doing things, not looking for money based on how many eyeballs, but how we can make the world a better place. Steve, when we look at history, and I think I was asked this twice yesterday about a president's legacy. I was asked this about on a podcast as well, personally. Every president in their second term looks for a legacy. That's what they do, right? They can't run again. They might not have got everything they wanted done in the first term, which Trump has said this on several occasions. He didn't get it all done, and he felt that he had things to do. What legacy is Trump trying to leave here, knowing that maybe if the Democrats do win the House and becomes a lame duck presidency, what does his legacy become down the road? And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, my theory of quantum convergence is that many of these technologies are coming together under quantum will be part of the discussion within the next year to 2 years. And things are going to even happen at a faster rate. I think what Trump wants to be, because the one thing that would blow my thesis out of the water, meaning much higher equity prices, the one thing that blows any investing out of the water is war. So I believe what Trump would want to be known as is the peace president. Now, if you hear him talk about the Nobel Peace Prize, yeah, look, I'm a New Yorker. I've known Trump since the 80s, maybe even the late 70s. He's always been a bit pompous. He's always been never afraid to speak his mind. But this is a guy who sat at the table with all the, let's call him the elitist. He always was part of that. So I think right now, as he's broken through and become a more populist type president, what does that do? It rubs the grain of those who are opposed to it. Hence, you got the TDS out there in the marketplace and in Europe. There's a lot of people who don't like him. But in general, I think peace prevailing will unleash the economic boom. And I believe that's what he really wants his, presidency to be known for.
Yeah, I mean, almost every president wants to be known for the finances, right? I mean, Clinton obviously being known as the first president to balance the budget. Trump is saying that he thinks by next year that we will be having a surplus again.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. You don't agree with that then, huh?
Well, I mean, that would only echo what I'm trying to say is that change is going to happen at a much faster rate as we move forward into 2026.
Yeah, and I'll leave it at that. Steve Flanagan, my friend. I love this talk. Money Wednesdays and Fridays. Steve Flanagan is on. Everybody knows here. He comes on at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'll see you right back here on Friday. We have a lot to talk about on Friday. All right, Steve.